Welcome to Bumping the Night Society presents Exploring Your Society. I'm your host, Sean Bowman, here with...
What? Oh, me. Jen Bowman.
And we also have our other co-host,
Bill K. Nice to see you all.
And we have one of the most badass women I know as our guest on today. Want to introduce yourself?
Hi, Christine Mancini. That's all.
So, Mancini, why don't you tell everybody how we met?
Scare House. Whoop. And Phil. Phil's my favorite. Yeah. I started working in haunts in 1991. I'm older than I look. This is what no makeup at 2 days away from 49 looks like, ladies. But anyway, haunt to haunt, just depending on where I was living and what I was doing. Fast forward to many years up north of Clarion and moved back to the area and didn't do anything for that one season and felt really off, that like something was missing, and it was working in a haunt. So I happened to see that a place called Scare House was having open auditions on the same day where I was planning on going to my mom's house for lasagna dinner. So I was like, ooh, drop off the kiddo and the side dishes at mom's house, go audition, come back, have lasagna, because she was, she's still, a little bit north of Etna where we used to be. So that kind of went in, auditioned, met Scott and Barb for the first time. And when I mentioned that I had worked at Fright Fest at Station Square, they were like, okay, you've been haunting forever, you're hired. So that was kind of how I started. And this will be at Scare House, and this will be my this fall 10th season with Scare House. So I get my bag. Yeah. But yeah, and so I just met tons of amazing people along the way, and so many others, and then I met Phil too. But
I love it.
It is a running joke for how many years now, Phil, between you and I, that
6, 5, 6, something like that.
5, 6, whatever it is. Yeah, love, hate you the most.
Oh yeah. You're one of the best people I've ever met, but god dang it. Yeah. Right.
Acting, thank you.
I know, right? Mancini, definitely one of the best people I've ever worked with, ever became friends with, and just you know so well when it comes to haunting. You do. You're like so good at it. It's just, I know I'm like, seems like I'm saucing you up, but it's the truth. I've worked with you many times.
He's a legend for sure.
Oh, yeah. We always get excited, us basement dwellers especially. It's like, oh, Mancini's working with us, yay. I love it.
I've always had skill sets in reading people and reading the environment, whether it's out in public or at work or when I'm working in a haunt. And I think those are some of the skills that translating that stuff into a haunt, of reading a group as they're coming towards the space.
Exactly.
So I think that's all part of what lets me do what I do. I'm really good at figuring out how to use shadow and light and fog. Thanks, Scott. More fog, please. Whatever. But it's timing, learning that you don't have to do much to do so very much in a haunt when you know how to use the space that you're in. And I can figure out what to do in a space pretty quick, as I've been called upon to do so a few times in the haunt. Hey, last minute, you're going here. Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Get him.
Love. What can you say? What can you say is the best character or the most like inventive character you ever played? I know it's a hard question to ask. You played it.
Well, for the basement, inventive, I think, was the first season of the basement. That there were 12 different characters that first version of the basement, and I was the understudy for the entire basement. So through the course of the season, I played 10 of the 12 characters repeatedly. They just pulled me down there. I think I spent 4 nights in the main haunt that entire season, because with people calling off or needing to move people around or whatever. There was one night I was upstairs in zombies, the original Pittsburgh zombies, not the current version. And I was all zombied up, and it was partway through the night, and they said, hey, someone went home sick. You're in the basement now. Come on. It's like, okay, do I need different costume, makeup? Nope, it's the bathroom scene. You fit right in. Okay. And then as I'm going downstairs from zombies to the basement, I'm in the space and I'm getting ready to go. And then I realize, oh crap, I'm in the basement. I have to talk. Okay, let's talk. Because you don't talk when you're a zombie at Scare House. But so that was just that was a lot of work. Like I got with the costume folks and made my own wardrobe for every spot in the basement. So if I walked in and they said, "Hey, you're this tonight," there was I had my section in the wardrobe area that was just my clothes for each space that I just grabbed from my own stuff because I'm not the easiest person to fit into costume. You know, kind of. I'm not small, but anyway. But memorable character that I had the most fun like creating and just doing was you know, Queen of Hearts for that, you know.
I was going to bring that up. I thought,
In the basement. That's, you know, that was that was a character that could only be done for a short run special event in the basement because the physicality that I used in that space, I wouldn't have been able to do that for an entire season. The only reason I could create her that way with jumping down the stairs and doing what I was doing was because it was for this many, not, you know, an entire season.
You were the main attraction for that haunt too, aren't you?
Yeah, I was the final room. I've been the final room in the basement 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whether it was because I was filling in, like when Elijah Wood came through,
I missed that.
or just because they put me there. Yeah, had fun whenever I was making fun of this scrawny guy in a weight room too. Yeah, I don't remember what year that was. Hi, Phil.
Oh, that was the one like was a bad night. Like I had some dude that I even told you, like I kept getting into his space because that was part of my character, and he wasn't having any of it.
Right.
I think if I would have kept on going, he probably would have like started swinging or something. So I just had to shush him.
Absolutely, and that's yeah. You always have to have your character in mind, but be able to adjust based on what the guest is experiencing, because you want to push them. But if you're so stuck in your character that you can't recognize that they're just not having it, that's not safe. And so it always has to be safety first. Yeah.
Oh, of course. And you know, you and I even talked about it too, because he probably just like snapped back into reality once he entered my room and was like, "What's this dude trying to do?" You know,
right.
But, you know,
well, you know, dudes get weird about stuff with dudes, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that was the epitome of that dude.
You were such a bro dude douchebag character. It was perfection. It was exactly what you were supposed to be in that space.
Yep. Yeah, Sean, I was like the legit like sleazeball douchebag of a locker room.
Legit the kind of dude that I stuff into a locker.
That was pretty much exactly what it was.
So we have another character for you then, Phil.
I didn't hear you. What?
I said we have another new character for you to play then, Phil. We always have Phil do like our character stuff.
Poor Phil.
Perfect.
We make him do all kinds of stuff.
I've seen the videos. Well, at least the ones that you've shared publicly.
Is there something I'm not knowing about here?
What? We drugged you and we made you dress up and it's special.
Yeah. Tell the world you had to drug them for it. Okay.
Oh my god. Why don't I remember this night?
Exactly.
Oh man. Oh, that's great.
So obviously you have a lot of acting experience. What are some of the famous, most like favorite roles you played, stuff like that?
That's, geez. I'm actually digging in my bag now for something that I wanted to pull out before we started, and it just occurred to me now that I forgot to do it. So pardon me as you hear rustling of me digging in my purse. Yeah, I carry a purse. What, Phil? Shut up. But anyway,
a satchel. Indiana Jones had one too.
Right. I decided in 2014 that I liked horror films, and I thought it might be fun to see if I could be in them, because I had done the haunt stuff and, you know, studio wrestling and different aspects of acting. I did one role in grad school in theater, but I didn't really do any theater just because, you know, didn't have the time with sports and everything. But yeah, fast forward to 2014, I decided to start auditioning, and I went 3 for 3 in my first 3 auditions, and 2 were horror comedies, and 1 was straight up horror. So that was a pretty good start. You know, nobody knew me. It was just kind of a, there it is. It's like, hey, read an audition, read a casting call, and said, I'll try that. So yeah, the first one was Captain Z, one of Steve Rosinski's films, where I played a wonderful hillbilly that turned into a demon. That was fun. The second one was Bigfoot with Kurt Wooten, Pittsburgh dad.
Yeah.
By the way, we just wrapped up filming the sequel to Bigfoot, so
Yeah,
Bigfoot, the movie, the sequel will be available sometime in the not too far away future, and it's just as funny, if not funnier, than the first one. So it's that great blend of horror / comedy, heavy on the comedy. So that's cool. And then the third one that I did was Hollow, and that we're still working on getting that released. The writer and director James passed away this past year, so between his attorney and some other stuff, they're working on it. But that movie is actually the one that really got me going in the Pittsburgh film scene, because PJ Gaynard, who was the editor of Hollow, didn't know him, never met him. We were at James's house for a cast and crew screening of Hollow. And as we were talking after we were done watching the movie, he mentioned the Pittsburgh 48-hour film project was coming up, just in general conversation. And I was like, ooh, what's that? And so he told me, and I said, do you need any more actors on your team? Because it sounds like it'd be fun to, get some experience and try. And he's like, well, I can have you as standby. And depending on what genre we get and what we end up doing, we may or may not be able to use you. But absolutely. I'm like, okay. Get an email, late that Friday night after the draw happened, and our team got horror. So I was like, horror, they're going to use me. And they did. And so that was my first 48. And I was on screen for about a minute and a half. And this many years later, people still talk to me about that character. It was creepy as hell. It was great. But and actually the screenings, this year's Pittsburgh 48 just happened 2 weekends ago. And for anyone who doesn't know what a 48 is, it's a national and even international competition that you put together a team, and everyone goes to the kickoff event Friday night, and everyone draws a movie genre out of a hat. This year it was a really cool electronic wheel random generator graphic. It was all fancy. And so the wheel stops, each wheel stops, and so you have your choice of what you land on the one wheel or the other, and you have to pick one or the other. And then they give every team a character, a line of dialogue, and a prop that has to be used. And then your team has 48 hours to write, shoot, and post-produce a 7-minute short film. So for actors, it's a long 24+ hour weekend. For the writers and the camera folks and all the crew, especially the editors, it's 48 hours of no sleep, because they're crazy and they love to do that. But we just finished ours. For the past several years, I've been with Falling October Productions, which also has 2 other Scarehouse family members, on it. Jared is one of the original Falling October folks. He's the writer. He wrote another amazing script. So the screenings are coming up soon at the Tull Family Theater, and then the best of screening / awards show, which means if your short makes it to that, then you were one of the best ones, and you may have won a prize or not. But that's on August 2nd, and they've got tickets available, for those right now. So time will tell. I haven't seen it yet, so but I'll see it at one of the screenings, and hopefully it'll look as good as it felt when Christina and I were making it. We were the 2 main characters, performing with one another.
That's really cool. Congratulations.
I was a bad guy. Yeah, totally not a bad guy, but yeah. But when you say like memorable characters, it was kind of a whirlwind start. And by people seeing me in that first 48 that I did with PJ, other people were like, who's that? Because, no one knew me. And so I started making this keychain, and the bigger dog tag ones are with production companies that I've done multiple characters with and multiple projects. And then the little circles are ones where I've only done like one thing with them. So there's my film resume so far.
That's awesome.
The gajillion I've been fortunate. I'm a unique type. For anyone that doesn't know me, I'm like 6'2", 260 some pounds of
you're definitely,
fierceness.
when I saw you for the first time in person, I was like, that is a fucking force of a woman.
There you go. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And one of my personal pleasures in acting is when I read a casting call and they've got character descriptions and it's written for a man, but it could be either. I'll go and audition. I like beating out men for roles, and the writers decide to change it to a woman. That actually happened with Hollow. That the character that I ended up playing, the writer had written it for his really good friend. I auditioned, and they apparently really loved me, so they took it away from his friend, wrote him another role, which he crushed in, and I ended up playing the caretaker role in that. So hopefully that movie sees the light of day. Like I said, they're working on it. The legal stuff involving a film, when who has the rights when someone dies and that kind of thing, it gets tricky, but work in progress. But I don't know. I've played.
You played a lot.
I haven't for real auditioned in quite a long time, because people write stuff and they're like, oh, we need a boom. Hey, is Mancini available? I've been fortunate because I am a unique type. That goes back to some of what you were saying, Phil, about pressure when auditioning and anything like that. Or no, I don't have any competition. I walk into the room and I perform and bring what I can bring, and they either want it or they don't. That doesn't mean that I didn't do well. It just means I'm not what they're looking for that particular character. So that's okay. And I don't have the pressure of competing with all the other women performers, because now, yeah.
Right.
I know
It's
I've
actually kinda
seen
funny.
3 different of your movies. I've seen the Bigfoot movie, and then I saw Boonies with Jess too from Scare House. And then I can't remember what the other one was called. Remember when I came to Hollywood, me and my kids, like back when I first met you, I think like the first or second year I was at Scare House. You had a premiere at the Hollywood Theater in Dormont.
Oh,
I can't remember what that movie was called.
crap. I can't either.
Yeah.
There's been many, which I'm fortunate. I'm sure if I went scrolling through my actual on paper resume and looked at like years and stuff, I could figure it out. But crap. Sorry.
That's okay.
I've just been, I love horror. It's my favorite. I love comedy. I actually just wrapped up on 2 feature-length comedy films this year, one of which we had started kind of before the pandemic, and the other one actually we sort of started before. Same thing with the Bigfoot sequel. We had started filming in the fall of 2019, then the pandemic hit, so that all went on pause. So 2021 has been finishing up projects that were started before that. So sometime in the next several months or so, it's going to be like boom, 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 boom with all these feature-length movies. They're like, wow. Well, we've been working on them for a while. The Boonies we actually wrapped in the fall of 19, so that was good timing. It made post-production take forever. By the way, the Boonies will be available on DVD July 27th.
Nice.
That's the character so far that I take the most pride in, because I did some work to develop that character, and I don't want to give it away because I want you to all go and watch it. But it's currently being distributed by Lionsgate, so it's gotten some notice, which is good. And
I watched it. Yeah, I watched it here, but you weren't here. Yeah.
Rude.
so rude.
Isn't that rude?
She just likes watching the same movies over and over
Shut
again.
up.
She'll watch Twilight like 10 times.
All right, shut up. Leave me
What's
alone.
wrong with Twilight? I like the Twilight movies. You got a problem with Twilight?
Yeah.
It's not just Twilight, it's just the same movies over and over.
I like certain movies, but I want to watch the movie she's in. He's gonna have to watch it again because
That's fine.
Absolutely. But
Bigfoot.
it's been it's been crazy. Mama is a character that has taken the next step for me as far as what I will do full time in the not too far away future, when I can finally step away from my current totally boring full-time job, which we don't talk about. Yeah, it's not boring, but we still don't talk about it. But
She's a spy.
Oh.
But so that's what I'm looking forward to. But this, the Boonies is a step in that direction. All kidding and humor aside, I got some very humbling and complimentary feedback from Hollywood on my role for that. So we'll just leave it at that, because that's where it is right now.
That's
so
amazing.
When I can more fully go into the whole auditioning for everything that I see, then I'll do that. But actually I just got cast in Saw, by Sean Paul Reynolds. So this is the newest script. This is a rough draft, so I'm sure there'll be changes. But yeah, that's the next thing that I'm casting and doing, and he plans on shooting it early fall in theory or through the fall. What I decided to do for the rest of 2021 is read casting calls and look for the smaller parts, because I don't believe, there's such a thing. If it's an odd, creepy, cool character that I want to bring to life, I don't care if I'm, on screen for 5 minutes or, 115 minutes. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I like memorable characters, and the character that I auditioned for and got in
Right.
Son is definitely, the town is eccentric. What? I don't, yeah. But that's kind of, because 2020 was insane, as we all know, and 2021 has been really busy for me. That's why I'm doubly proud of the resume that I've put together so far, because I have free time to act on evenings and weekends.
There you go.
And I've done a fair amount. So, but again, unique type. I bring a certain set of skills. I've been told that my voice is rather intriguing. That's something else I'll be getting into in the future, like voiceover work.
Yes.
That kind of stuff is
I can
something,
see you doing it.
I will voice video games before all is said and done, Phil. Yes. But it's
What,
a hell of a ride so far.
what would be like a bucket list actor or director or somebody you'd love to work with? Putting you on the spot.
Bastard. For real, like shooting for the moon, Tarantino.
Okay.
Oh wow.
No, we
Okay.
could. Sure. I could definitely.
I
see
actually, the part in Hollow that I, won the audition, whatever, I actually used the with El Driver with the Black Mamba when the snake, kills Bill's brother. Her
Yeah.
thing with the notebook talking about the snake, that's what I used as my audition piece.
That's cool.
And so I've loved Tarantino stuff forever. I think I'd make a badass Avenger of any type, but
Hell yeah.
whatever. It's I don't know. I can't say director or anything in particular, because it would depend on the character, because I'm really character driven as far as what kind of character I want to bring to life. I'd like to do more drama, just straight up drama. I did one web series, and it's actually still on Amazon, Beginnings, season 2 of that, and that's based on the prequel book of a book series that's been in publication with new books coming out frequently for the past 20 plus years by Jackie Druga. And she took the prequel book, and we did a TV season for that. And that was great, because she's the first and so far only person to cast me in a role where I was the head of the CDC. No comedy, no drama, no tough guy, none of that. Just there's a pandemic and trying to handle it. So it was great to just do that. I say just, but meaning instead of the usual, oh, you need me to be creepy and or tough and or menacing. It's great, but it's not,
Right.
yeah, I want to do other stuff, but I don't care about the concept of being typecasted, because the word cast is in there. So that's the thing. I'll play whatever kind of character intrigues me, or when I get to the next level, whatever kind of character they'll pay me to do.
Yeah, right.
So
what kind of like genres or like types of movies would you like that people would be shocked that you were actually into? Because with like horror and comedy, but then like whenever people mention, well, I like this and like that, like I never would have expected you to like something like that kind of thing.
There's really not much surprising. I like action films, but I have to be in the right mood to enjoy watching them.
Right.
Yeah, horror and comedy are pretty much my main. I don't like slasher horror.
Oh, boo.
I agree.
I have all sorts of slasher tattoos on my
I
arm.
agree.
Yeah, I get it, and believe me, I've got a picture from many years ago of Kane Hodder and I together, and he actually gave
Yeah, me too.
more than a half of a smile, because he really enjoyed meeting me, and he doesn't smile in photos, or at least he never did back then. And so I love all the icons, but when I say slasher, I don't mean Jason, Freddy, Mike Myers. I mean the concept of more blood makes it more horror.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's I love, and this isn't a surprise, but I love found footage movies. I even love bad found footage movies
Right.
because
They're
it's a
so good.
movie. You know, anybody that says, "Oh, that movie was bad," my challenge to them is, you know what? Put together your crew, find the money, you write it, you make it. You can do better, then do it. That's part of why I love the 48-hour film project, because every team's goal, yeah, the awards are cool, but every team's goal is to make a better film this time around than they did the last time.
Yep.
In whatever way. And if you win the Pittsburgh, you know, because all the cities around the country that do it, if you win your city competition, then you go to a national competition. If you would happen to win the national one, then you go to the international level. So the 48-hour film project is a huge thing, and it's a great way for people who want to get involved in movie making, but they're not sure how. Every city that does 48s, they do like meet and greets whenever they're getting ready for them, and you can kind of show up and say, "Hey, I'm interested in doing this. Does anybody need someone like me on the team?" And even if they're not going to use you to be the lead cameraman, yeah, come on set with us. You can learn and do and that kind of stuff. So that's, you know, like Falling October Productions has always been a teaching team. Our assistant director this year, it was her first time on a film set, and she kicked ass. It was amazing, so talented. So that was really, really fun for the team to have her there and be like, "Okay, guess what? You're in charge of this now." Because Jared doesn't mess around. "Oh, this is you now." "Yeah, no. You got this." And, you know, India crushed it. So that's going to be awesome to watch her career, because her goal is to eventually become a director. And with that being her first time on set, she's going to be a phenomenal director as, you know, time. She's 25. She's just getting started. Yeah. Kicking ass already. It's great.
Well, I mean,
But
look at
yeah.
like somebody like Sam Raimi or something, and, you know, started off low budget horror, and, you
Right.
know,
Oh, hell yeah.
$50,000 budget or whatever compared to a $50 million budget. I'd rather
Yeah.
see that, you know.
When people, "Oh my God, that's so low budget." Well, I see indie films from Hollywood. Yeah. An indie film from Hollywood, they're low budget. They only had 5 million, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. Most indie films have zero budget, or a micro budget is really what it would be considered. So yeah. "Oh, the kills weren't spectacular enough." "Oh, no shit, Sherlock. Shut up."
Yeah.
And I don't, you know, I
Work
mean,
with what you got.
you know, and just people who critique things when they have no idea how hard it is to actually make it.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, to make a feature-length film, the amount of time and resources and money that you have to put into it, but you most likely never see any of that come back to you, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah, if you think you can do better,
That's even
write
like
it
little,
and then task me and I'll act for you. You know? Yeah.
little cheap plug here, but even with like the documentary that Mikey just did, like I know he put months into that just to like put that together, you know, like
Editing.
a lot of work.
Editors are the most incredible people in the film industry. Editors.
Mhm.
Editors make me look phenomenal. You know, I just do a bunch of stuff in front of the camera, then they look at all of it and decide which looks best. I have the easy part. I really do.
Mm.
Oh.
It's
I'm
yeah.
sure you could talk about acting all day, but there's a couple
All day.
other things. I
Oh,
want
wait, your documentary. I loved it. Everyone needs to watch it. Give
Thank
the
you.
full
So much.
title so I don't say it incorrectly.
It's Possessed and Oppressed in a Town Called Bel Air.
Watch it. I loved it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
But I wanted to get to the wrestlings. I know you were involved. I'm a wrestling fan.
Wrestling.
Oh yeah.
How did
Yeah.
you start off doing that?
How did I start doing that? Well, I you know, played Division I basketball in college. Bit of an athlete back in the day. Now I try to only run if being chased, but or chasing someone in the hunt, or Phil when I see him.
Usually
but,
people are running from Phil.
not running from Phil, running towards Phil, towards you, Phil. But I did a little bit of theater in grad school. You know, like I said before, I just did the one role, but I helped. I knew I was a theater kid even when I wasn't theater. You know, I was one of those weirdo scholar, athlete, theater, computer. I'm whatever the hell I want to be. I like it all, but helped with productions and whatnot. And that was grad school. And I also at the same time did a lot of concert security. And one of the shows that I frequently did security for in the Palumbo Center on Duquesne's campus was when the WCW would come in, because they weren't quite big enough to fill up the arena. Yes, it's the Civic Arena. PPG paints what? No, it's the arena. And so they would have their shows. They would have their shows at the Palumbo Center, you know, on Duquesne's campus. And one of the first WCW shows, if not the first one that I did security for, was Triple H's last WCW show before he went to the WWE and kind of, started running all of that. But as I was doing security the one night, this one guy came up and said, I kind of looked head to toe, up and down. I get that a lot. I walk past a guy and I'm taller than the guy, and the guy looks down to see if I'm wearing heels. No, just me. But he said, "You like wrestling?" I'm like, yeah. My uncle used to take me and my other cousins, and there were like 5 of us, to the arena to see wrestling when we were little. So I've been seeing it, watching it for a long time. And he's like, you should really look into this. And I was like, oh, maybe, something to think about. And so he gave me some information of a local promoter. And fast forward, making my way through grad school, and I kept thinking about it. I like wrestling. That might be kind of fun. So same thing, if something strikes me as I might enjoy it and it might be fun, I'll give it a go. Mostly. But yeah, that was the beginning of me showing up at a place, and the trainer at the time had to call. Who did he call? It was either Killer Kowalski or one of the other, well-known Pittsburgh area legends, who he called to say, I have to train a woman for the first time. What do I do?
Maybe Dominic DiNucci?
Huh?
Dominic
It might have been Dom that he called. I can't remember who he said he called. It might have been Dom. You're right. But it was a long time ago, man. But what the old legend will say, and my Dom brings maybe it was Dominic DiNucci, but he basically said, train her like you would a guy. It'll look like a woman because she's a woman. And then that's when the trainer said, yeah, but she's like 6'2" and not small. I'll train her like one of the men. She'll be great. So I had the fortunate experience of showing up at with PWX back when they were Eastland Mall a zillion years ago, and between Barry Kohlhoff and Vince Kaplak and Ron Williams and Sean Evans, just some great guys that I was training at the same time that they were there, and they were so freaking talented. And they were like, hey, this is kind of cool. You can pick us up and slam us. Yeah, I can. So, luckily they were very welcoming. I know not all women in wrestling have been welcomed like that, but I think they were kind of afraid that I'd pick them up and mean it. But don't worry. It was good timing. It was, fortunate timing, good guys at a great time that it worked. And I had fun doing that for like 16 years. When I moved, I went from PWX to APWF. And then I was doing APWF and OSPW in Buffalo, New York. APWS doesn't exist anymore, and OSPW is Nickel City Wrestling now, but I retired from wrestling before they switched to that. But it's a lot of the same men and women doing it. So every time I see a flyer for one of their shows, I'm like, oh, I need to road trip to Buffalo and just show up and say hi, because I still get messages from them saying, when are you going to come and see us? I'm like, too many things, not enough time, long road trip.
Ain't PWX's Fight Club now, I think, ain't it?
No.
Or is that a different
Fight Underground is not in any way, shape, or form associated with PWX.
They're out of McKeesport now, I think, ain't they?
No.
That's what I thought it was. No, that's.
I am on the Fight Council for Fight Underground.
No, Fight Club, not Fight Underground.
What's Fight Club?
I thought that was the new promotion that was in McKeesport. I don't know if
no idea
them or not. Yeah.
No idea.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't follow other promotions that closely. I just know I was approached by Quinn Magnum to be on the Fight Council for Fight Underground, and that's where Paul Atlas and he and names that you would know from PWX and other places have put together Fight Underground and the Fight Council. It's our job to train and help the young wrestlers who want to do what we did and help them do it as best they can.
If you ever come out of retirement, you better let us know, Mancini.
I am not coming out of retirement.
At least chokeslam Phil or something for one of our videos.
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Thanks. Okay. I'm Phil. There's a lot of nice, wonderful open space at Dead Man's Hollow. Maybe we'll have to go back there.
Kind of like a death match down there.
Oh my god! I have to wear the
versus Mancini.
Yeah. I gotta wear the bumpy helmet or the bumpy mask or whatever.
But yeah,
Those are
Fight
the
Club. I don't
funniest
know. I
things.
don't know what that is. I know that that's a movie
Yeah.
with Brad Pitt. So calling a wrestling federation that seems odd, but whatever. You know, the business is the business. There's always strangeness and infighting and drama, and I stay away from that and just do what I do.
Yes.
And I'm happy to be with Fight Underground. I'm very pleased with the effort what they've put into their Virago division, which is what we call our women's division.
Okay.
And yeah, there are some women that are definitely kicking some ass and taking some names. So it's yeah, men too. But of course, I'm partial to the women who choose to wrestle because it's.
So I guess same question, but wrestling related. What would be your bucket list wrestler? Your prime. If you could take on anybody, male or female.
In my prime?
Mm-hmm.
Male?
Male or female, whichever.
Well, yeah, male. Undertaker.
Obviously.
Awesome.
Female. That's tough. Malia Hasakah, and Malia is still wrestling. Malia is a living legend of women's wrestling. If you don't know who Malia Hasakah is, you need to look her up because
Japanese wrestler.
Huh?
Japanese wrestler.
I won't specifically comment. I'm not sure what nationality.
That's what I was just.
Yeah, but yeah, Malia is amazing. She's been wrestling forever. She's wrestled, all over the world, and she's still doing it, and she is tremendous. She's a friend of mine, but yeah, her and I, in our individual primes, would be a hell of a technical, super quick wrestler against a beast of a power wrestler. That could have been a hell of a match. Yeah. So, but yeah, love her. Google it, Malia Hasakah.
Okay.
Yeah, she did a stint with the WWE and other things, so yeah. Someone else who I know that, in each of our primes would have been fun just because we would have been completely ridiculous with one another would have been Beth Phoenix.
Okay.
I remember
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
She's not.
Yeah. Beth, not to give much away from wrestling, but Beth comes up to about here on me, and she was the Glamazon in the WWE. Yeah.
She's announcing, I think, on NXT or something, ain't she? I know she was on one of those shows.
Yeah. She's been doing some different stuff. Yeah. After her induction into the Hall of Fame, then she's been involved in some other ways.
Yeah.
Beth's incredible. Yeah. Joni Lee was incredible. China.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last time I saw her was a few months before she passed away. I don't think I would ever want to do a match with her though. Just
how old was she when she passed away? She couldn't have been.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember how old she was.
Yeah.
Far too young.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Far too young.
Now, were you taller than her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They bump up everybody's height. When I wrestle, and it's not a secret. It's not giving away a trade secret. I'm like 6'2". I'm a legit 6'2".
Yeah.
They would have to bill me at least 6'5", if not taller, because the way that the guys bumped their height, you couldn't have me in the ring with a guy who was saying he was 6'5" and came up to here on me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get
always
it.
Wondered why they do that too.
Because you want to be big and powerful and strong.
Part of the whole carnival aspect of how wrestling started off, it seems like.
Absolutely, yeah. Kayfabe and it's a work and that kind of stuff. Now with social media and everything and so many live events that so many people can go to, people know exactly how tall people are or aren't. So, but yeah, it was part of the illusion in the show. You're right. Yeah, the work. Yeah. A carny definition of work as opposed to the hard work. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, there's some big wrestlers out there. Like Sean was telling me about that guy Omos. I think Sean is his name.
Yeah, he's with AJ Styles now.
Oh, that guy.
He's
oh
like
my gosh.
7'6" or so, I think. He's really
Okay.
Yeah. Huge.
I'll have to. I don't watch much wrestling anymore. I don't.
Jen gives me a hard time. I always watch wrestling stuff.
I like the drama. I will watch it I used to watch it.
She's with the
growing
local
up.
shows and she's had fun.
Okay.
I used to watch her growing up, and then it got ridiculous. And then we got together, and I'll be like, I don't want to watch this. But then, if the drama
She
was
wants to
going
watch
on,
her same movies 100 times.
but when the drama would come on, I'd be like looking in the corner, like what's going on in here? I don't actually watch the actual wrestling,
Or if
but
it was a hot guy.
Yeah, you like the storylines. You like the
yeah,
because it's entertaining. Sports entertainment.
I like that one girl. She's big.
Nia
Nia Jax.
Oh yeah.
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 I think she's beautiful, but
She
she's
is gorgeous.
She's a beast. Like
Yeah.
she is.
Mhm.
I would not want
Gorgeous
to.
beasts.
Yes,
Woo!
yes.
That's right.
Oh, I was reading up
I
on some
totally should have
facts
put on some
about
eye
David
makeup.
Johnny.
I'm looking at my no makeup face going, what?
You look beautiful.
I got my
You
hair
look
up
dashing.
in a messy post work fun bun. But what? Who?
What?
I don't know.
Where?
What are you talking about? Hey! I hear you guys do paranormal stuff sometimes. Want to
Sometimes.
talk about any of that? Is that
Yeah, once you talk about Dead Man's Hollow, you came along with us on that one. How would you think of that?
Yeah. I want to go back there for a few different reasons. We all like what we like and use what we use as far as tools. I think all your electronic gadgets are adorable. But I approach it differently. And now that I've been because I picked what I had in my pockets that night when we were in the parking lot, and I didn't know what the layout, where we were going, any of that. But when we go back again, because one of these times when you go back again, I'll be able to come along. I'll make my schedule, it'll work. I'll bring some different tools, as it were, whether between selenite and other the quartz and some of the different stuff that I had with me worked. There was one point we were down by the river, by the tunnel.
Yeah.
Something up in the tunnel kept drawing my attention, but I couldn't quite hone in on it, and I think it's because I didn't have I'm looking to the right where I've got an assortment of beauties that sit by me all the time. But anyway.
Yeah, Jen's with a lot of the crystal stuff. Do you use pendulums at all too? At all?
Well, here's my lapis one. What I did with this one was I changed the ring on the top, and so I wear this one frequently as a necklace, and I glance over to the board on my right because behind me is jewelry that I make. Over to my right, there's about 30 pendulums hanging there. My favorite pendulum is a Super 7 pendulum that I have. Took me decades to find a pendulum in that stone. So so that's the kind of stuff that I use. And now that I've been there and know a bit more of the history, I would bring different stones with me than what I did. I also think, and this is just a random, before we started, Phil, and I was joking about us both being Energizer bunnies. I think you and I sometimes, if we don't ground very differently and carefully, we actually draw a lot of the energy away from an area that a presence needs to make itself known by how we are. So we have to regulate what we're personally projecting.
Exactly.
So there's enough around for them to do their thing with, I've been bruised on the arm and tugged in the hair by presences at Scare House over the years in the old location. So and I'm always very aware of what particular mood or space I'm in. If I'm doing a real high energy character spot, they don't come and play because I'm sucking all the energy right out of the room. But if I'm in a more subdued, creepy character location, then they tend to come around more because there's more energy for them to draw from, I think. And I think sometimes you mess up the equipment, Phil. I'm just saying, your vibration is very. That's why I hate you.
Phil's still a paranormal virgin.
I didn't hear that last one.
Paranormal virgin a little bit.
Next time I come along, I'll bring some things that you have to keep in your pocket, like shungite. That'll help. Yeah, that'll ground some of you. Hematite's great for grounding. You require shungite.
Yeah, a lot of that shit.
Elite shungite if I could afford it, but we'll just go with regular shungite.
Sounds like you're calling.
It's from Russia and it's not cheap, but it's delightful. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I get a lot of my energetic side probably from my dad. He's very high energy as well, especially if he's really into something. So I get a lot from him. I was actually, whenever I was a lot younger, I I was the exact opposite of what I am now, basically. I think the fact that I'm getting, in my 30s now, I'm just like,
I
I'm
am
trying to get
so
more.
glad you did not put older along
no,
with
I just-
30s.
Yeah,
Now, my grandmother,
very
we
wise with
celebrated
my
her
30s.
102nd birthday at the beginning of this year. She is the only old person that I know.
That's
Who was
cool.
it?
Yeah.
102.
Wow.
Wait,
Yep.
who turned 102?
My grandmother,
Wow.
Yep.
Go her. That's
103,
amazing.
January coming up. So she's 102 and a half right now.
When's her birthday in January?
31st.
Okay, mine's the 4th. That's what I was wondering.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. So longevity, knock on wood, tends to run with the women in our family. So
Yeah.
as I'm about to hit 49, I'm not even halfway done.
Does she have the energy of someone much younger than her? present age,
She
or-
has finally slowed down a bit in the past couple years, but up until the past couple years, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing.
So, but yeah, she's had an amazing life thus far, and will continue to
Yeah.
do so for however long she's meant to.
And I think the mentality that people give themselves helps
My
out.
dog is currently here futzing with me, so hence the Hazel, go away, I'm busy. Here, Hazel, come here.
Aw.
Here, Hazel. Can you put your face up? This is Hazel.
Aw.
This is Hazel.
I was trying to bring my dog up here. He was like, get the dog down. I'm like,
Right? Hazel's my itty bitty, teeny tiny, 80-pound female pit bull. Just a little girl. Yes.
Aw.
And she wonders who I'm talking to. So, yes, I'm talking to Phil and Jen and Sean and a bunch of other people. Oh,
Hell yeah. Oh, I love that. How old is the dog?
she is 8 going on 9. Yeah, we rescued her from a family that had to get rid of her when she was 6, which is
Aw.
unusual because I usually won't ever take a pit bull when they're not young, because I have a very particular way of training my doggos, especially pit bulls. But went to their house, met them, and then met her, and was like, okay, they were doing it correctly, because like any breed, but especially pit bulls, you can use their amazing tendencies in really not great ways with very little effort, sadly.
yeah.
It doesn't take much to monopolize on their amazing spirits in a negative way. So, but you're a typical girl.
Yeah, it's
Hazel,
all-
Hazel.
For
Go
me,
lay
it's
down.
all timing and how much patience and effort you put into something like that.
Quit licking my arm. She's not gonna quit licking my arm. Hello. Oh, geez, who am I talking to? Don't knock over the computer. Mwah.
Aw.
Yes, little girl. Yeah. Yes, you want to be famous. You're already famous. Mwah. But anyway, go bother somebody else. There's 2 other people in the house. She's not
Oh
going
man.
to.
And speaking of I was actually going to ask you, since you've had many experiences working for Scarehouse, was there ever any experience paranormal wise that actually frightened you, or nothing
No.
really? No.
No, they don't want to hurt me. So why would I be afraid?
No.
Exactly. That's what I always tell. I mean, because I've had a few experiences there before, but it's just you get so used to it. Of course, from working there so many years, you're like, it becomes just a part of it.
I think even when it's something malevolent or something that has the ability for attachment and those kind of things,
Mhm.
even the casual preparation that I did walking into Scarehouse every night, just in case.
Yeah.
No, I don't allow for that.
No.
You're not me, honey. Yeah. But I'm also very consciously aware, so I prepare accordingly, because I know how, if you're aware and available and accepting, though, sometimes,
Yeah.
show up. And sometimes I'm here for it, and sometimes no, not now. I got scary booze to do. I can't talk to you right now.
It's actually kind of funny too, because even in some of the darker areas, especially in the basement, I always found kind of a comfort in it. I don't know why. It was just working in the maze, that wooden maze. I was basically I did muscle memory, and I loved every spot of it. Everything, I just loved it. I missed that thing so much. It was so freaking dark in there, but I just felt relaxed.
Well, even with how active that building, is, I'll say is, because I'm sure it still is, even though we're not there. And we added to it with all the energy we brought in ourselves and that our guests brought in. But, it's still there because all the energy from back in the, club days is there. But I think the thing that makes the basement special is all the performers in it. And you can be in a spooky, haunted, whatever space, but when it's filled with people who love what they're doing and love each other, you can feel a lot of comfort in a questionable corner.
Oh yeah,
down by the bowling alley.
I think it's kind of
there's one spot down there. Whew, yeah, and I bet you if a map existed of the pool before it became the bowling alley, that one spot on that bowling alley, I guarantee it's where that little boy drowned.
Oh
I
yeah,
guarantee it when it was still a pool. It has to be. But yeah, so.
Yeah, I think it's always kind of like a Monsters Inc. type of thing where you're scaring people and it's building the energy and it just amped that building up a little bit more.
Always, yeah. Haunt season, that place was the most active because just like you said, we were in there amping it up just from the fact that even in the off season when the designing in the building and everything was happening, that was still pumping that energy, getting ready for the season. That we were fueling that place year round to varying degrees. Yeah.
There was a couple of things. I was on Build Team a year or two. I think I've told Phil actually about some of the stuff that happened, but there was a couple instances when I was there when it was like me, Matt, and Nino. We were in the theater. We were running a ghost app actually. And the funny thing is, like, Matt didn't want anything to do with it. And it said, I don't remember what her name was, but it said a name. And he was like, holy shit. It was his mother's name. And he was the one that didn't want shit to do with it. Me and Nina were just like laughing.
They don't care if you don't want it. If they're there for you, they're there for you.
Yep, that's exactly right.
What was it when Amy Bruni came and I was there helping guide the groups to the different spaces? My group was down in the basement before we were all meeting back in the theater. And she was using and I don't know the terms of all the toys, I'm sorry, but the one that does all the radio stations at the spirit box.
Yeah, spirit box.
And then stuff comes through. And they were doing the spirit box in the theater. We were the last ones getting there because we were down in the basement and had further to come. And as we were coming in, she was asking, there are a lot of people that work at Scare House here. Do you know any of them? And that thing, of course, said Christine. And it was right as we were walking in. I'm like, hi, they know me here. Yeah.
Well, did you go on the ghost hunt that they had the one year? It was like,
I think I've been there for all of them, helping out. Yeah,
I went on.
They've always asked me when they do those. There's a fly buzzing around in my room.
I went on one of them. I want to say like maybe 2017 or so, somewhere in that time frame.
Now, when the Taps guys were there, that was before I was at Scare House.
Okay.
But the Amy Bruni stuff, and then when they just did them privately, after that, I was there to help guide groups into the spaces.
Because the private one I was at, the only thing I really remember happening that night is, which you probably were there, we were up in the actors room and you could hear whistling.
Yeah, everyone was hitting a similar thing in that one corner. Yeah, because I love how they did that no one compared notes until the very end. So it was like, yeah, that room definitely. I don't know what kind of whatever's the Elks did over time, but that was an extra charged space in that building. Yeah, I think. I still wanted to shove Phil in the fireplace. I never got a chance to, though. That fireplace was gorgeous.
I know,
part of the death match.
Oh, it's funny, going back to the basement. Like I've been into the actual basement of that. Like,
same. It's this
big.
The hallways are this big. When I first saw the footage of Dave down there, I was like, did you need a can opener or a shoehorn to get him back out? Love him.
It's very wet down there, but it's so cool. I don't know why.
Well, supposedly that runs underneath the street, across the street, was a rumor.
I would think that would make sense. Yeah, that probably a lot of it's been filled in with pipes and other things as they've made more offices and whatnot. But if you had the original layout when there was less of that business there, well, a lot of things did so you could cross under instead of crossing the street because of traffic or just the conditions.
I think a lot of the mining history in Pittsburgh too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did like a photo shoot down there with Nutters, and I was right where the entrance of the really, really small hallway kind of
Yes.
wrapped around. I kept looking behind me. I'm like, oh god, something's gonna grab me.
They were thinking about it.
Oh yeah,
That would be
was
cool to
though.
go back there and investigate that place. I wonder
Yeah,
what-
I got to go down there a couple times just because, over time, I think Scott, sometimes just says, yeah, go ahead, because he knows I'm not gonna
yeah.
mess with anything that I'm not supposed to, and that I'm gonna
Oh,
keep
yeah.
pestering him until he tells me yes anyway.
I used to like clean the basement, before we'd open. I'd be down
Right.
there by myself, which I liked it. I like
Right,
walking around
yeah.
by myself.
If my work
Yeah.
schedule ever would allowed me to be someone who got there early to do that pre-show stuff, yeah, more time in the spaces, yes.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
couldn't
that's why I
do it.
love going down there. It's like the most addictive area because it's not meant to look beautiful. It's just meant to look very, like everything comes from us for the most part.
Yep.
And yeah, we have our props and everything too, but it's not meant to be pretty. And I like that. I like the ones that are so like dingy and very like messy looking, and it just
Yeah.
makes the experience more frightening.
Mhm.
I agree.
Oh,
The Sandman year, I think it had a lot of that. Yes.
Which one? Whenever Nate was there, or whenever I did the Sandman with that little
You.
Caitlin? Oh, that was my favorite character ever. Oh,
How could it
I didn't even
not
say
be?
anything. What's that?
How could it not be your favorite character? It was brilliant. They're
Oh,
all
thank
been
you.
awesome, but that was an extra level of
I know, and I think
You're on
that's the
stilts
playing a
for that
douche
too,
bro. Phil gets to get on his actual creepy character.
yes, yes. And I got
You
to
have to
be
wear
Carl
stilts for that
Gardner.
one,
That was
Phil?
really cool. What's that?
Weren't you on stilts for that too?
Yes, and I mastered those stilts in about 20 minutes after I fell on my ass once. And
I
I can still use them. They're not meant for really, really like tall people. They're meant for people who are like my
Need to put
height.
Dave on stilts.
I'm actually looking into some drywall stilts.
Yeah.
Because I continue to work on my first cosplay of ever. Because I think if you're going to do cosplay, it needs to be a character that fits you.
Right.
Paying homage to a character you love, that's awesome, that's great. But the Giga hat that I've recently purchased, I think would need some drywall stilts for me to give the full Lady Demetress cosplay that I'm currently building. Because no offense to tiny skinny little bitches playing Lady D, and no, she's what 9'6" according to the game developer. So back up.
That's
That's
amazing.
insane. God.
So I'm working on the costume, and I'm still contemplating, and I'm doing the costume in a way that I can drop it to that length if I do decide to brave some stilts.
Yeah.
But if not, I'm still going to be a big badass Lady Demetress. Hoping to have her ready for Steel City Con in August. Not sure yet. Acting
I
kind of
went
picked
to-
up in some ways that I didn't expect, which is a good thing, but it takes away from the time that I have to, build a costume.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we'll see. If not, there'll be the next, Steel City Con or whatever.
I
Everyone will
missed
see
Steel
her
City.
eventually.
I missed Steel City Con this year.
I haven't got
You
that either.
don't worry about missing it, the last one, because the air conditioning broke
You're
and it
kidding.
was an oven. I was on set with Bigfoot that day, or I would have been there because I had my tickets, because I get a 3-day pass for every weekend. 'Cause I buy them in advance when the price is good, 'cause I never know what day or days I'm going to be able to make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I found out, because Aaron Carruthers works for the event group that does Steel City Con and a bunch of other stuff, and so he's usually always there, and he always has the most update intel. And so he was on set that day too. He's like, it's the first one I haven't been at in forever, but he was like, yeah, I'm getting messages from people that are dying from heat stroke while they work there because the air conditioning broke. So it was hot in there. Yeah.
I know this upcoming one's supposed to have a lot of horror people on it. And Freddy's-
It does. It really does. Yeah. Yeah. They're trying to bring in as many and as much as they can, just because attendance and everything has been down or non-existent when they had to cancel. So they're trying to build it. But yeah, between one of the guys that played Jason and Freddy's there, and just the list goes on and on. They just announced. Did you see who they just announced? Not horror, but the actor who does SpongeBob's voice. What's his name?
Oh, Tim Kenny, I think.
You could be right.
I
I'd have
saw
to
that they
Google
had
it.
some big announcement for but I didn't know.
Yeah, that was the big announcement of the voice actor, the guy that does SpongeBob, and that's amazing.
Cool.
That's so cool.
SpongeBob is awesome.
Did you go to the horror one they had a couple years ago? It was like Elvira and Linda Blair and all that.
I don't think so because, fall things. I'm either at the haunt or doing scary movie stuff. So
That was a cool show.
yeah.
That one, yeah.
And even when, oh, you could go during the day. No, I could, but no, I'm not going to go to an event during the day and then spend all night running, jumping, scaring. Hazel, hello, you're lovely. Go away.
I've never been to any like type of con.
Your daughter goes all the time.
I know. I've never. Yeah, my oldest daughter goes with her dad. She's met all kinds of people.
And she just met a bunch of people from Scream.
Skeet Ulrich.
from
Yeah,
Boston.
she just met Skeet Ulrich, and
Every person
together.
said how sweet he was the entire day, the entire time. And
Matthew
like
Lillard.
you, Phil and Sean, you guys know Allie, the 100 acres. Yeah, used to be at Scare House. I usually hang out with Allie for a chunk of it because she's there with Douglas School all the time, and so she knows all of the celebrities because they see her and they use her backstage to do makeup for different people for different things. And when she tells me how sweet a lot of the celebrities are, then I know that everything that the fans are experiencing is true because someone who watches them the entire weekend, you just didn't catch them in a good moment. They're just that kind of, but he was amazing from all the stuff that people were posting. And I love to see that.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
You need to go to a con.
I know.
For sure.
One of
With
these
a group
days.
of really fun friends. You have any?
We should get a booth there sometime, actually.
You should. You really should.
I know, like, Ghost in That has a booth sometimes. I've
Yep.
seen them out there.
Yeah.
We actually, cheap little plug right here, we have a thing called Hearst Mania coming up in Minesville,
Yeah.
September 25th.
Why do you keep saying cheap plugs? This is your podcast. Plug yo shit. It's not popping. Come on. This is yours. I just happen to be here and I can dominate any conversation as much or as little as you want me to. What?
You need to come out to that though, Mancini. Even you could probably get on as a vendor if you wanted to sell some jewelry or something. Like,
That'd be sick.
Yeah, we met the guy who runs it at the psychic fair at Hillview.
Oh, okay.
He was cool. He was cool. I'm pretty excited about that.
but it's supposed to be like this big festival of different hearses. It grows every year. It's at Minesville. And like the first year it was in like the one field, then he had both fields. Now it's supposed to be like the whole front end of Minesville this year.
And people love events like that. And when you can get a location that people already know and enjoy for a bunch of other reasons, then add something like that to it.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to keep expanding because word's going to spread. And then once, you can get, all the different levels of who can you have as guests at your thing or whatever. And then word starts spreading. Then all of a sudden,
Mhm.
the people who charge a lot more, that's the only thing about the cons that kind of gets under my nerves sometimes is like some of the prices that some of them charge if someone wants a picture or whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't do pictures with celebrities. I just, never really, Kane was an exception because fucking Kane Hodder. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that was just us standing there chatting. And get this, before cell phones, it was a picture that I took on my 35 millimeter camera. That's right. Back in the day, then had to send the film out and hope that it showed up right. Yeah. But yeah, I've not gotten into it. I think too, since I spent so many years doing concert security, bouncing and whatnot, I've met, like I hung out with Robert Plant. That's
Ooh.
fame. Yeah. George Carlin. Yeah. So for some reason they always like to use me like at the backstage door area. No one ever tried to get by me. And so in turn, I just ended up meeting a lot of them, just over the years.
Amazing.
I did my first bit of concert security when I was like 14. So,
Holy
been
crap.
doing it for a minute.
Oh man. Speaking of concerts, you gonna go see Slipknot when they're coming this year?
No,
Oh. Boo.
I bought the insurance for my ticket because I bought the old lady in the seat,
Yeah.
and Philly in August post pandemic. No,
Yeah.
I'm not making that road trip.
Right.
If everything would have been the way that we were planning before everything got canceled, then absolutely I was going to road trip and have a blast with all you guys.
Oh, that would've
But
been so
a couple
fun.
months ago, because I kept pondering it, so like I may never get the chance to see them again.
Mhm.
But no, August. Plus they changed the day of the week. I'd have to take like 3 days of work off
Yeah, that's
to make the road trip work the way that we were planning on doing it. And I was like, no, I can't justify that. So
I
We
still
had
have my
like 3
Rammstein
events
ticket
that
too.
we were going to, and they rescheduled them literally all in the same week.
Mhm.
of
I mean, we're
course.
gonna go to all of them, but like,
Yeah, we have what is it?
In This Moment
Which that's
on
actually
Halloween
yeah.
night, which I'm pretty excited about.
They dress up and stuff too, so that should be
Yeah.
good.
Cool.
And then you have Tech Nine,
Tech Nine,
and then
Impractical Jokers.
Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
But we have to buy Phil. We have to buy our Who tickets.
yeah,
Remind me to tell you
Yeah.
my Impractical Jokers haunt story. Oh my god.
Yeah, they can do
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Well, 2 of them did.
But yeah, they're rescheduling stuff and they're changing the days and clumping it together. And it's like, and Phil, you said Slipknot. For some reason, my brain didn't process that until just now. I wasn't talking about Slipknot. I was
Oh.
talking about my Rammstein tickets. that
Yeah,
I-
that's what I thought you were talking about. When you said
Yeah.
that. I know they were coming to Philly. Yeah.
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 And so I was debating between Philly and New England. And then a bunch of Scarehouse folks said, hey, Philly, we're going to, get a Airbnb and do a thing and whatever. I was like, okay, you all guys have fun with your mosh pit floor, standing room only floor. I found a seat that's just a couple rows up from the floor. 'Cause this old ass isn't standing and moshing for an entire show. But then with it, getting canceled and pushed back,
Yeah.
and then the days changing. Yeah. So yeah, Slipknot, I'll be able to see them a million more times before all is said and done. But Rammstein, I probably won't get the chance to see them again, just because it's the first stadium tour they've done in the U.S. ever, and they've been around since the '90s.
Oh, it's crazy. And they've had the same lineup ever since.
Love them, love
Oh.
them. Yeah.
Did you go to the Slipknot show that got canceled that time when it was raining real bad?
I was there.
No,
Me and Jen.
I
were.
was there. I was
no,
there.
I pay really, really close attention to weather forecast.
It
'Cause-
was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was bad.
I left. Me and my friend ended up driving home. We had blankets around us in our underpants because we were soaked.
Well, Manson did like what, one song?
Yeah,
and then
I've
that's-
seen Manson since then, but he was a train wreck when I saw him. I actually took one of my clients who loves Manson to see him. We went to Purgatory before. We went to the show. Afterwards, I'm driving him home, and he's like, because you could tell Manson was like on something, definitely. And
That was
that was,
right after
Well,
that passed, right?
and well, that was the next night he fell off the stage in New York City.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, and you were there, Phil, weren't you at that show? You said. I thought you
Yes,
said you
I
were at
was
that
there.
show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm driving him home, and he's just like, I thought that would have been better than it was. And I go,
You're correct.
yeah. I was like,
The Purgatory was great.
yeah, Purgatory was delicious. But yeah, it was definitely. I'm like, he wasn't in his right mind tonight.
I would imagine too, when you're doing shows like that and the weather is so crappy, that just,
It's range.
you love your fans, but it just takes the oomph for the show out of you, where you're like,
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look at what concerts are coming and all the ones that I want to go to. Plus, back in my day when premium concert seats were like $40. Now $40 doesn't even pay for parking. I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? I've been fortunate that I got to work at and go to hundreds of concerts over the years. I'm not going to go to too many anymore, just because I think the expense is obnoxious. I understand why it's that high, because things cost more and whatever else, and there's but I got other crap to do with my money.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're supposed to go see the Who.
Yeah,
You
we
know
gotta
the
buy
Who?
our tickets for the Who.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yes.
do,
Yes.
because they're going to sell out in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not 3 seconds, but yeah.
We gotta do that. Like I was supposed to do that, and then Phil messaged me while I was in Mexico. He's like, I'm in Mexico right now. I'll get back to you after.
Correct
Sorry.
answer. Phil, seriously, she was in Mexico.
We gotta do that like in the
Well,
next.
and I think that's the thing, that when it's bands or performers, that chances are high that this is going to be their last time, whether they want it to be or not, just based on age and whatever else. Not Kiss. What, every tour for the past 12 tours has been their last tour ever. But folks that aren't going to necessarily tour ever again. So I am bummed about Rammstein, because I don't know if they'll come back to the U.S.
yeah.
They will eventually. Maybe it'll be another, because they did a tour years ago, but it wasn't a stadium tour. This is their first stadium tour. So maybe they'll come back again, but they don't have to come to the United States. They sell out all over Europe year round forever. So they don't have to go, let's go to the United States so we can get famous. No, they're there. They don't. Yeah. But that just means I'll have to plan a trip to Europe and see them there.
Although I think
I'll see them when I'm 80. What?
Hey, no matter what age, you can rock out any age you want. That's how I view it. Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's funny because like my parents, like they're into like, they like Slipknot, they like them. They're into the heavier stuff too, not like the growly black metal stuff that I like, but like I actually went to go see like Five Finger Death Punch with them, Breaking Benjamin, and yeah, weird, I know.
No,
It was
it's
cool though.
Five Finger Death Punch. Their one video with veterans and suicide.
Oh yeah, yeah, uh-huh. Oh, that was a tough video
Oh,
to watch.
that song and that video. Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's probably one of the most emotional hard rock metal videos I've ever watched, hands down. Hands down. They're a good band live. They were
Oh, absolutely.
phenomenal.
I love them. Yeah, I love
Oh,
Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh yeah, my dad's like obsessed with those guys. He loves them. He loves Disturbed. He likes In This Moment. My mom,
In This
yeah, it's
Moment.
weird. But
I love, and
like
I
it.
can't wait to see In This Moment. What's her name? Marina Brink, is that her name?
Yep.
I love her so much. She's just like all her costumes, and she just looks like a nun / demon. I don't know, wizard. She has like this big crown she wears on her head. So great. So great.
There's so many shows where I'm like, oh my God, they would all be so great. No, my old ass isn't going. I'm allowed to call myself old Phil. You're not allowed to say that you're
I
old.
have some rough times with the standing thing. That's what we saw. What, Teddy Swims or whatever.
I mean,
And I was like standing back by the bar because I couldn't stand. Like,
I know. He left me. I was up by like the front more. So
then you get like annoyed by people too because they just like the way they act.
Was like,
it's like I didn't want to be around this shit. Like I'm going back to the bar.
He wasn't even like. I mean, he was kind of like famous on like Facebook, and he kind of got a following. These women are straight up taking their shirts off, like older ladies. They weren't old, but still, they just got their shirts off. And I'm like, really, over this guy? Like he's good, but like, really? All right.
That's like, I mean, Jen gives me shit about it, but like I'm a juggalo. I used to listen to ICP and all them. I'd love to go to like one of the gatherings and stuff like that. But
I just saw Jen's face and you didn't.
but I couldn't put up with that shit no more. There's no way.
I would literally murder somebody. Like I am an introvert. People don't believe that I'm an introvert, but I am.
Yeah, you're an extroverted introvert. You can be extroverted, but you need to recharge differently. And
to deal with people. I'm 39. To deal with people like that at 39, I have no tolerance for that.
Correct.
I can't.
Correct.
I
like
cannot.
you need the drugs and alcohol, and I don't mess with that really much anymore.
Jen, your face, your reaction to the whole juggalo thing, spot on.
That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. We've all had that phase before. I mean,
absolutely.
They're not a bad duo. I mean,
no. There is absolutely nothing wrong with them as musicians. I like their stuff, but their fans, a lot of them need punched squarely in the face.
Oh yeah. It's
on a list of concerts that I will never go to, despite liking the music, they'd be towards the top.
I've been to a couple. They're fun. They're crazy as hell, but they're fun.
Yeah, okay. You say crazy, I say needs punched in the throat.
I think
isn't always the answer, but sometimes people are just asking the wrong questions.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like going into a mosh pit. You see a big guy in there who's like kicking and flailing their arms, and everyone's
unnecessary.
Like, yep.
Yeah. No, a mosh pit isn't meant to be a show of strength. No, you start doing that in the mosh pit that I'm in, guess what? Say bye to your shins, because you're not going to.
Like I actually moshed in the last Slipknot concert I was at. I moshed in the pit a couple of times, and it was. Of course
you did. No, because everything that I've seen, Slipknot fans mosh the way you're supposed to.
Yeah.
It's not a competition. It's an enjoyment of the music in a different type of movement. It's not a.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nah. Take all your
a few times.
Alpha male. Bullshit alpha male. I got no problems with alpha males. Give me a good alpha. I'm looking for one. Any that are single or not. But but that tough guy. No.
That's because a real alpha male isn't like it's not a power trip thing. He takes care of.
Did you see my post? I did a meme on Facebook that said, so many men that think they're alpha males, you don't even know what an alpha is. Alphas take care of their pack and protect their pack. Where's your fanny pack full of cheesy crackers? I think that's what it said on. Yeah, look on my wall, and that's what it is. Yeah. Here's your fanny pack with your cheesy crackers to take care of the pack. Yeah. That's an alpha. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, too funny. Oh, Impractical Jokers at the haunt.
Yes.
The one, and I don't know all their names because I'm horrible. I don't memorize names of things that I can Google, and I can Google their names. But one of them has said repeatedly on the show that he hates scary things, so he didn't go through.
It's Sal.
That's Sal. Yeah.
I know it was gonna
Yeah.
be Sal. He's
Yeah.
literally
And
afraid of
but the
cats.
other ones did, and that night it was when we had Infernal, and I was in the courtyard in front of the house.
Yeah.
We had to come around the fence and come through the yard and then go onto the porch and go in. And me, I don't hide behind things. I like to be out in the open because I love when they say, "There's one. I see him." Because I get called him a lot because I'm big and it's dark. I get it. Yeah, you see me. Guess what? But when those three came around the fence and saw me crouch down in my semi 3-point demon stance, because I was a demon that night, it was almost a minute of them circling each other, figuring out who was going to walk past me first. And so they spent a minute scaring each other with the, "You go first. No, you go first." And I'm in that crouch, snarl, looking up, going, "Make up your fucking minds, my knees and my back." So then when they finally decided and moved, then I just did my little demon thing, and all three of them, so it was great. But they scared themselves more than I ever could. And that's some of what you have to do, the anticipation. Let the guests scare themselves. That's why I like being out in the open. Oh, you think you got it figured out because you can see me.
Which I wonder actually if they're going to come through this year, because like I said, that show we're going to is towards the end of October.
I would hope so. I think they had fun the last time they came and played with us,
Yeah.
new location. So maybe they will. That'd be cool.
That'd be sick. Those guys
That
are
was so funny. Just crouched like that, watching them scare themselves silly.
And then you're like the legs for the love
Right?
of God,
Like,
just come
oh, why did I pick this really cool looking but semi-painful to hold for a long time? Oh, because I'm me. Hurry up, make up your mind.
God. I wonder, like, this is a random question, but with those guys, I wonder if they've ever actually had any like lawsuits thrown at them for some of the shit they're doing in public.
I would imagine before they're able to air anything, every person involved has already signed every release. Yeah, the stuff that you see on the show is probably less than half of the takes and what they record until they find a person that will actually, once they realize that they've been involved, sign off on all of it.
They'll blur out people's faces sometimes.
Yeah.
Because if they can't, and if you're doing anything in a public space, and anyone walks past, if you can't get a release form specifically from them giving your production company permission to use their face, you have to blur it or not use the footage. That's them some of the rules and the laws around that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense too, because
Absolutely.
not everybody wants to be on camera.
Yeah, they could be in a witness protection program, or heaven forbid, have an abusive past relationship or something that somebody, oh, wait, where was this show? That's where they are. Even if it's not, there's so many reasons why, broadcasting someone's image without their consent can be problematic. So yeah.
Oh, sure. And it's funny because like a lot of the episodes I've seen of that show, it doesn't happen that often, but I'm sure they have enough footage and enough like people to mess around with where they don't worry about it too much. But
I think the new season.
A lot of work that goes into it
this week. I think on Thursday is the new
Oh
season.
yeah, cool.
What was that, Sean?
So the new season I think is supposed to be coming out this Thursday.
Cool.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's awesome. It's it's like the guy Borat. Like he's the most ballsy comedian I've ever actually like seen. Like
Sacha Baron Cohen or whatever. Yeah. He's interesting. He's interesting.
Yes, he is.
Some of his stuff I love. Some of it it's like
That new one.
We're gonna get Phil to wear the bikini he wears.
Oh my God. That green one. I'll be our next TikTok.
That's the one that he's having a death match with you in. Bumpy in the green bikini.
that's the finishing move. Let it go.
Choke slam me in the bikini, wearing the bumpy masses.
We can do it. We can sell tickets.
I mean, I don't even have to be drunk to do that. I can just be sober. Shave all my body hair off and oh God. I have
Oh, now he's
problems.
talking about shaving all of his body hair off. What have you people done to him?
This is my initiation, and it keeps on going.
I know.
You've
It
been-
never ends.
So you've been in an, I was gonna say exactly what Ben just said. Never ending. I was like, so you've been in initiation status for how long now?
We gotta bring somebody on new.
When-
That's the only way to
when
get pumped up.
initiation's over and you're just being fucked with, man.
I like it though. It's fun to do. It really
Pro
is.
tip, just letting you know. It's not initiation anymore.
No, that's our running joke too, because I'm basically like the stunt man for the whole group, you know.
And also the sweet talker. If we're like, go sweet talk that lady.
Yeah, he's gotten us into
Shove 'em
places
that
that we
Go
have.
talk to that lady. Go
We were at
flirt with
Anchorage
her.
Mansion. He got us into the basement because he was sweet talking to ladies.
Bill's your go-to sweet talker.
Yeah.
I could see that working.
Yeah.
Lots of people might fall for his what he calls charm.
It doesn't take much to look this bald.
That's true. It's that presence. It's the cleft in the chin and the bald head. It just yeah. You just go.
Look at that.
"Ooh."
Look at that.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it totally does it for me.
Oh man.
Phil,
I don't think
in my
myself
brain, I
either.
just quadrupled the size of the hug that I'm going to be giving you the next time I see you in person. It just keeps growing.
I can't wait to give you the biggest freaking hug.
I was so bummed that I couldn't make the picnic, but
Oh,
yeah, that was the Sunday after the 48, and it was so hot and so sweaty, and I was so exhausted by the time I got home late Saturday night that the
Oh.
idea of leaving my beautifully air-conditioned home and walking out into the heat in any capacity made my brain shut down. I was like, nope. It's like, man, I really want to see everybody and I want to go, but that means walking out into the heat. Nope. Yeah. Motor
I'm in Ocean
function.
City, so I couldn't go either.
it was fun. It was a good time.
The pictures look great. I have fun every time I go, but just it being the same weekend as the 48, I just know that for me, after that long ass Friday night into Saturday, that Sunday is spent
Yeah.
sleeping or sitting, or that day I was at the computer, random YouTube video holes, just kind of drinking coffee and just kind of because that's about the energy level that I had.
Right.
It was also a typical fun 48 pulled into my garage and so covered in sweat and or blood and or miscellaneous, stripping completely in my garage, leaving the clothes in a pile, running up through the house, hopping into the shower, and then thinking about cleaning up my clothes and stuff and whatnot, because it was like, okay, I'm not walking into the house with any of this on because
Oh yeah. Ugh.
that's a lot of blood. Okay. But
Oh, geez.
well, movie making,
Oh yeah.
none of it was my blood.
Whoa.
I only killed a couple people in this one. It was a low body count, but not bad for a 7-minute film.
Quality over quantity.
Exactly. A really, really good script. We drew, because our team, Falling October, we always seem to draw like something horror or horror comedy or dark comedy, and it always ends up turning into some horror element. Last year we got something completely different, which was cool. This year we got suspense/thriller as the one that we went with, and keeping it in suspense thriller without going into horror, without going into comedy. It's Jared, it was a writing exercise for Jared to really stay, because you get points based on all the different elements, and one of the elements is how true you stay to your genre. So you can draw it and then you could go more into horror or more into this, but then you're losing points for how on genre you are. Our two choices to go from was the thriller, suspense that we went with, or soap opera / telenovela. So yeah. And so we definitely went with thriller / suspense.
Yes.
But yeah, the script was great. I can't wait to see it myself. I keep send me a copy that, let me see it. No, we can't let anybody see it before the screening. Oh well,
Well, Mancini, we definitely could talk to you all night. That's for sure.
no doubt.
Anything upcoming or any plugs you want to do?
Just again, that the Boonies is going to be available on DVD on the 27th. It's available currently on demand, and it has been since April, literally all platforms since Lionsgate is distributing it. iTunes, Amazon, YouTube, Xfinity, literally all of them. 'Cause it's Lionsgate. Lionsgate. You've heard of them, right? They're kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super proud of that. That our little $30,000-ish budget film got that kind of distribution deal is
That's
it's
amazing.
something. So, and yes, Sean, you have to watch it again so Jen can see it. Watched it without her.
You dick.
But yeah, no, that's the DVD coming out. That's the big thing. The 48-hour film project, like I said, for anybody who has any interest in getting involved in the Pittsburgh movie making scene, whether it's acting or hair and makeup or sound, doing grip work, operating the booms and that kind of stuff, or camera work. Pittsburgh filmmaking community is unreal with how much they teach and help each other when you get hooked in with the right folks. And the 48-hour film project is definitely the best way to do that. So yeah, look it up. They've got Facebook pages that are specific to the Pittsburgh one. PJ is the administrator for all that because he's the current city producer. Every city has a person who's in charge of putting together the whole thing for the entire city, and it's PJ, and he's doing an incredible job. We've got some killer judges for this year, so there's a lot of teams that are really excited. And one of the people that they asked to be a judge, the PJ asked but couldn't, and I suck at actor names, the new Spock.
Oh, Zachary
Oh,
Quinto.
yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't available to judge the films, but he wants PJ to send him all of the winning films, and he's going to watch them. So that's kind of freaking cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the judges that PJ got for this year are all known industry leaders. So yeah, PJ's doing a hell of a job with the 48 and building it. Yeah, and it was awesome for years when Kamala run it, and then she had to step back, and then someone else took over for a minute, and it was kind of a rough couple years just because it was. And PJ last year was good. He wanted this year to be better, and he's doing it. It takes time for to build something up when it's a new person in charge of it. But yeah, 40-hour film project. Check it out. Movie making. But yeah, I don't have anything else really to no. Bigfoot 2. I'll let you know when it's coming out.
All right,
We're not sure yet. They're doing editing, post-production now. Pittsburgh Dad is hilarious. He's not in the movie. It's Kurt Wooten, who's equally hilarious.
Terry Jones too.
The actor.
Terry Jones is good too.
When I read the script and saw that Kenny was back, I immediately sent him a message, and his response was, "Wait, Kenny's back?" Because they hadn't even told him yet. And I was like, unless I have a script that you're not supposed to know about that. And so they're like, no. And he's like,
I used to when I used to rap, I used to do shows with him down Deja Vu back.
Okay. Yeah, Terry and I have become really good friends who haven't seen each other since the cast and crew, or not the cast and crew, for the premiere at the Waterfront for the first one. We met at the little cast and crew gathering afterwards and just instantly clicked. And with his comedy and the stuff, how he talks about mental health through his comedy and what he does, he and I have just, become, as close as you can be as far as chit-chatting about what we do without really knowing somebody. So more than an acquaintance, but I wouldn't call him a super duper friend, but I got his back and he's got mine in a lot of ways. And I love his stuff, his new stuff coming out, his music and whatnot. Silent Like Chaplin.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Jones, people, give him a Google. But yeah, I love him. So, and he got to fuck around with a plane and a goddamn helicopter in Bigfoot too. I don't get any cool props. Kenny comes back and all of a sudden he's got air flights, whatever. But no, very excited for everyone to see it because it's fun. We're definitely all a bit older, but just as fun.
Well, thanks so much for coming on, Mancini. Christine Mancini.
Guys.
You're amazing as always.
I have an actor page on Facebook, Christine Mancini actor page. Give it a like.
For sure.
There you go. I don't, when I can move into this full time, then I'll do more of I need a social media presence right now. Yeah, I'm around. People know how to get a hold of me. It's cool. But I don't, someday I'll have millions of followers. I'll catch up to Phil someday.
Don't forget us.
Who?
Who are you?
Never, 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 never. Every one of you spooky bastards has had an influence on how I do my stuff.
Oh,
And
that's
Jen,
no,
thank
no.
you for continuing to put up with him because you've made him a much better person. So you do deserve another trip back to Mexico. Just saying.
Yes, absolutely. You should pay for it.
yes.
That's what I was getting at. But anyway, love you guys.
Love you too,
And,
Mancini.
You're amazing.
I have my moments.
Don't forget, everybody needs a little bump in the night.
Woo.
Only a little.
A lot.
All right, Mancini. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you guys. You're
Have a good night,
welcome.
dear.